Raising the Roof, presented by the Central Indiana Realtist Association, a local chapter of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. Our mission is to build wealth through home ownership by enhancing economic development. We accomplish this goal by informing, advocating, and educating in the communities we serve. And now, Raising the Roof.
Welcome and thank you for joining us as we're Raising the Roof. I'm Priscilla Russell.
And I'm Dolores Kennedy. It's Black History Month and we're raising the roof for those trailblazers who made generational wealth through home ownership possible.
So sit back, watch, and learn as we celebrate Central Indiana Realtist Association's Moments in Black History.
Welcome back to Raising the Roof. We're Central Indiana Realtist Association and the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, where we encourage generational wealth. We're here today to talk about generational wealth and the history of NAREB, as you might hear people say, which is the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, and CIRA, which is the Central Indiana Realtors Association. I'm Dolores Kennedy, and my co-host
It's Priscilla Russell with United Real Estate.
We're going to talk about the history of these two organizations. We are CIRA, Central Indiana Realtors Association, is the local chapter of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. Okay, Miss Priscilla, tell us, who are we as NAREB?
Well, National Association of Real Estate Brokers is the largest minority trade organization that is in existence at this time. And one of our main things our mission statement is that we want to promote democracy in housing. So that is one of the things that we work with the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. And while our name suggests that it's just an organization, we are a group of people from many years that have really dedicated our lives to promoting wealth and generational wealth among minorities.
And you know what? One of the things that we probably need to tell everybody is, who are we? Who's the National Association of Real Estate Brokers? NAREB.
With NAREB, we are real estate professionals, and our organization is the oldest minority or trade organization that exists at this time. And one of the things that we really promote is promoting democracy in housing. That's one of the things that we work on. And, they got started because of some of the things that were happening back in the 1940s after the war, and the people came home. There was a lot of prejudice going on at that time. You could tell us about when we started.
We started, NAREB, National Association of Real Estate Brokers, started in 1947. And its main concern was because of the discrimination in housing, where minorities could not sell houses in certain areas. We couldn't join the national boards in any of the states. And one of the things is, in Indiana, we're one of the last states that has taken that off of their books, where minorities cannot be a part of the board.
Hello, I'm Shelley Specchio, CEO of MyBor Realtor Association. We support the mission of the Central Indiana Realtist Association to improve the quality of life for the underserved and enhance the economic development for the community. At MyBor, our leadership in economic and community development efforts directly impact the strength of our communities and promote the importance of homeownership for all. Learn more about how realtors strengthen our communities at mybor.com.
On behalf of CIRA, Central Indiana Realtist Association, we invite real estate professionals to join us at our monthly meeting, first Wednesday of each month at MCL Castleton, 11:30 a.m., where our mission is advocating, informing, and educating. Our vision is building wealth through home ownership. See you there.
Indiana is one of the last states that has taken off that whites only being a part of their boards. And I mean, this wasn't 100 years ago.
Yes.
It has not been 100 years ago. Just think about that.
That's true. And one of the things that I really was surprised at, being a transplant from Arkansas, was the fact that they did have these kinds of discriminatory information on many of the associations, and we could not even be members of that association, and it was in writing, and I couldn't hardly believe that that was true. Even though it's not being implemented right now, there's some places that still have that information on there that we could not be members.
And, I'm reading a book, Priscilla, and I just started it. So it is The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein. And it talks about there being laws on the books that tells everyone that they should not discriminate.
Right.
But everybody knows that they can discriminate, And so this is, it's really something that, amazing. Just amazing.
Well, what's amazing to me is that the group of people that got together to put this all, to even create a legislative group that was able to implement a lot of the things that happened. And I was so excited that even in 1947, 48, when they were doing these things, that they had the nerve to have a lady. There was 12 of them who started National Association of Real Estate Brokers, and there was a lady that was included. Mm-hmm. And back in those days, we were really stepping out, because ladies weren't even allowed to become members of the Board of Realtors until several years ago.
Exactly. And I think the women were able to be members of the boards before minorities were. So it took us a while that before they were able to. But the thing of this NAREB, National Association of Real Estate Brokers, came out of a need. It wasn't just something that somebody was just thinking we ought to do this. This was a need, because we could not show their homes in certain areas.
Right.
We could not even use their multiple listing service, because they did not want us to use that. We just had to, by trial and error. That's why we were able to do this. And this is amazing that these people that got together and they thought about, they said, you know what, we're not doing this anymore. We've got to do something for ourselves. And this is how the National Association of Real Estate Brokers came about.
Well, and the other thing that really amazed me with this group getting together, not only did they do the local getting together, they decided to form a national group as it's known, and they also went to Washington and they worked with getting fair housing laws and things that are now that we are the beneficiaries of, that they started back in the day, because we're just thinking we can go buy a house, but it was not like that
at all.
And they had to fight for everything that we got. So we should really be appreciative. And one of the things that we're going to talk about later, and I know that is one of the goals for NAREB, when we come back, we'll be talking about what our goals are for the next 5 years.
Hello, I'm Dolores Kennedy, broker owner of B&K Real Estate Services, where helping you buy or sell your home is what I do. Call me. You see the number. Call me.
Welcome back to Raising the Roof. We were talking about our history of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, and one of the things that we wanted to discuss was some of our goals for the next 5 years. Dolores, give us a little outlook on that.
We have some, our new president that we have, Lydia Pope, she has come up with 5 initiatives for going into the following 2 years of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. And one of them is 2 million and 5. We want 2 million Black homeowners in the next 5 years. That's our goal. And so what we're wanting to do is, by doing this, selling these homes is we're building generational wealth. And what we want to do, the 2,000,005 is one of them. The Sheba Report is another one of the initiatives, and that is the state of housing in the Black America. And faith-based and civic engagement is another one. We're going into the churches and things of this sort and bringing the generational wealth, building wealth through homeownership message to the people. And so that is our purpose in building generational gift. There are women initiatives that she has, and it's called WIRE, and it's Women in Initiatives in Real Estate is what that stands for. Diversity and Inclusion in Small Business is another initiative. So she's got a lot of things that she has going on for us so that we can move forward in the homeownership vein.
Well, one of the really great things I like about this initiatives is that they're encouraging small businesses.
Exactly.
And people to go out and start their own business. And what's really great about the National Association of Real Estate Brokers is we're not just realtors as realtists. We are also all kinds of members of the majority, or the minority, I'm sorry, that is going to be able to get you a loan. They'll teach you about title work, teach you about doing a budget. So we have all kinds of members that are members of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers.
Exactly. And in addition to the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, CIRA, which is the Central Indiana Realtors Association, which is the local chapter of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, our mission, our motto is encouraging, advocating, educating above all, and informing, so that we get and the people in our communities, so that we can give them information and so that they will have the information to go out and make good, sound decisions in buying homes. And we're all salespeople. We're both salespeople. That's how we eat. We salespeople. But what we want to do is to make sure that you have the information that you need to go out there and to purchase a home. And we intend to do that through educating.
Hello, my name is Sherry Boudwin. I joined CIRA about 4 years ago. One of the reasons why I joined the CIRA group is I know that they have a wide variety of professionals within the CIRA group. I know that I can go to any one of my colleagues and get good, valuable information for my customers. CIRA also focuses on the needs of the community, so it's nice to know that we have an organization out there that is serving the underbanked and underserved client. I hope that you will consider joining CIRA, and thank you so much for your time.
Well, and one of the other things that the CIRA, our local chapter, is doing, it's doing community development through fostering home ownership. So one of the things that they encourage right now, we're doing home ownership training, we're doing home buyers training. Tell us about that. That's going on.
We have a workshop, a home buyers workshop that we have once a month. You can earn your HUD certification, 6.5 hours HUD certification that can help you qualify for home down payment assistance. We have these sessions every month.
Right.
We have it once a month, and you can do all 3 sessions, and at the end of there you can get your certification for home ownership. And it goes the whole gambit from the time, the introduction of home ownership up until the time you get your keys. We've got insurance people, we've got lenders, we've got real estate agents, we've got title people, we've got insurance people. We have all of these people so that we can let you know. Because people, when you say we got to get the title work, they say, what is that? What's that? We explain that. We explain everything, every process of this home buying thing. This workshop is awesome.
And don't we have a NID? What's that?
We have
a person that's qualified to do that.
Qualified. We have NARAB Investment Development, which is division. NARAB Investment Division, which is NID. We have a office here in Indianapolis, and that is the counselor and director is Myra Lillard, and she is a counselor, a HUD counselor that helps you in going through that home buying process. And if you need something to help you in getting ready for it, if you need to do this or need to do that, the process that you go through so that you can be able to purchase that home when it's time for you to purchase it. We want to, and one of the initiatives, three of the is democracy in housing, and what NARAB's mission is restoring, rebuilding, and retaining. We don't only want you to buy a home, we want you to be able to sustain that home and to build wealth through home ownership.
So what's happening in April? Don't we have a special week going on?
We have Realtors Week.
Okay.
That is an awesome week. And that is, I get excited. I get excited when we start talking. I get excited when we talk about Realtors Week is a week. Now, CIRA, NARAB, we are an organization of giving back.
Right.
Building wealth and generational wealth. But this week, it's a week of giving back. We have a day that we're going to have a legislative day that we will have legislators come in and we will have a town hall. Right. Talking about telling them what we need from them, and they're telling us what it is that NARAB or CIRA can do for them to help them to do their job correctly. Do their job. Then we have a day of service where we will go into the community. We have a project and we'll be there all day. We may be painting, we may be pulling weeds, we may be scraping, we may be doing any kind of thing, all kinds of stuff. And then we'll have a membership day. We even have a day of worship where all of us will get together and go to one service at one of the members' church, and then all of us will be there and worship with them. And then the community day is our big day. we will have education, we will have fun, we will have food, we will have all kinds of things for you to come in and do. We'll have vendors there, and so that you can come in and you can get any information that you need to have on home ownership. Community Day, you can bring the whole family because we will have something for everybody to do on Community Day. This is April 3rd through the 9th. You need to be there.
Yeah, and one of the really great things at Community Day and that they'll be doing, you always got to remember that we trying to get you ready for home ownership so that you will have generational wealth. And so we'll have mortgage people there that you can talk to that are trained by National Association of Real Estate Brokers and CIRA and their members, and they'll be able to guide you through some things that can help you to be a homeowner, and also, as Dolores was saying, and keep your home once you get it. So it's going to be one of those kinds of weeks. And I want to make sure we talked about that, and you can't tell Dolores is excited, Kim, about the week. So we're excited that it's going to be coming. So
you know what? And one of the things that we talked about in a meeting that we just had, we're going to have a 2-hour session on down payment assistance. Different lenders that's going to tell you about the down payment assistance programs that they have that can help you to get into your home. You know what? One time I was someplace, and I tell this story all the time, so I say I was ear hustling. I was listening to somebody talking, and they said you can't buy a house unless you have 20% down. Well, we're going to get rid of that myth.
Yes.
Come to our Realtors Week Community Day, which will be April the 9th. And it's going to be held at the Faber Card Glick Center, which is at 71st and Michigan Road.
one of the things that's so interesting about what's happened here, and the reason for NARAB, is that we were not National Association of Real Estate Brokers. We weren't even able back in the day to even show some of the houses, as we were talking about before. And some of the ways that we did that was amazing, that we were even able to have the homes, because we would have to meet together as a group and distribute our homes to each other and talk about the house that we're trying to sell, because we couldn't do it on the mainstream. So we got together, and they were able to get the whole group together and meet at different places, at different offices, and so that we at least could make a living. So some of the things that they did back in the day with National Association of Real Estate Brokers, the civil rights things that happened, they went to Washington, and they were there. They projected us, and they projected some of the things that were going on at that time. So it was just amazing what we had to do just to sell a house. Can you imagine that?
That's really something. And it's really ironic that these people, these 11 people,
right?
These 12 people, these 11 men and one woman, one woman in the middle, that they had the forethought to think, you know what, we've got to do it for ourselves. We cannot wait until they let us in. We've got to do this on our own, so that we could figure out, so that we could sell homes to our own people. You know what I mean? And there were obstacles there.
Yes.
There was obstacles there, but working through it and going through to some of the legislators and things like that, and even the fair housing issues that was going on, and trying to get through that way, so that we could be able to sell houses, you know, so that we could build generational wealth. And based on the homeownership rate, which today is probably about 44.1% versus 72% non-Hispanic whites. That's a big gap.
That's a big gap that they're trying their best to help with generational wealth and sort of close that gap. That's why it's so important that we're talking about in those 2 million homes in 5 years, because we need to really work on that. And in order for us to do it, then with the National Association of Real Estate Brokers and with Central Indiana Realtors Association, then we'll need to get into the churches that we're doing now, get into these conversations with community leaders and community actions. And that's some of the things that we're doing on Realtors Week, which is really great. And when I really start getting excited about our group, when I think about that, they worked on the Voting Rights Act of 1965, even the Community Reinvestment Act of 1997, and then even Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they had to do all these things in order to really make it known that we're people too, and these people really deserve to be able to buy a home. So it's just been a wonderful thing to be a member of this group. You know, some of the things that they have accomplished that a lot of times people don't even know what all they were doing behind the scenes, and making sure that we have the right to have home ownership.
You're right, and not only that, it's just letting people know that, because some people go and they want to buy a house and they don't realize the history behind. You couldn't always go into all neighborhoods, and I'm sure there's a lot of discrimination there still. But you know what? You just couldn't go in anywhere and say, you know, I want to look at this house, or I want to look at that house. You were told you cannot look at this house. There was no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You cannot. You're black. You cannot look at a house in this area. Can you imagine that, Priscilla?
Well, I can't really imagine it, but when I bought my first home, I experienced it. So what was really great is that the people that I were dealing with, of course, I didn't know they were National Association of Real Estate Brokers. I was just referred to them by somebody at my job. And it was really John Abernathy and his group, who's one of our major realtors here, who's really made an impact here in the community. So I didn't know that he was under stress to even get me a home, because I thought I was moving from Arkansas to the promised land. And so here I get up here and the promised land wasn't promised to me. So all of a sudden I had all these, I'm thinking, what do you mean I can't live over there? And he couldn't really say that because he was just trying to get me to the right home. And I appreciated all he did. I didn't realize it until years later when I started researching information, and I thought, you know, it was hard on those realtists back there, but they made their way, and they were able to sell us a home. And from then I decided to get into real estate. So there you go.
Yeah. How about that? Well, you know what? Out of a mess, you're bringing a message. You know, in helping people in buying homes and letting them know that home ownership is, you know, it is obtainable. And you know what? And with all of the redlining and all of the obstacles that have been out there, and it sometimes can still be out there, maybe not as overtly as then, because then they just tell you, you know what, you're not going to buy a house in this neighborhood. It may not be as overt as that now, but it's still there. But we have to have advocates that will help us to help them to be able to purchase a home.
Yes, and I just have to mention the first person that I went to work for. Her name was Brenda Stevens with First Class Realty. I had no idea all the things that she had to suffer in order to even own her own company. She was just an excellent person to work for, and I tell you, probably if she would have told me everything that was going on, I probably wouldn't be here now, because she made it look so easy, because they were working together and they had this big group of people, and they just worked together, showed each other's listings, sold each other's listings, and they just did things in order to have a nice relationship. So I had no idea all those things were going on until I started researching.
You know what? And we have CIRA, Central Indiana Realtors Association, we have what's called a Trailblazers Luncheon, where we have people that have blazed the trails for others, like a Brenda Stevens, or Elizabeth Booth, or a Robbie Williams. These are people that have blazed the trail so that you and I could be where we are today, because it was not an easy road. No. It was not an easy road.
Was that Dr. Lloyd that was the first realtist that could be a realtor in the mainstream? So and we've had these people that we have recognized because they've done something for us that was needed, and because of that we can be able to sell homes now. And we have fair housing, which is behind us 100%. You know what, if anytime you think, even if you think that you're having issues or may think that there may be something that may be going on, we have an advocate, Amy Nelson, who is the director of fair housing. Give her a call, and she will be able to, if it's something there, she's going to find it. She's going to find it for you. But we have come a long way. The National Association of Real Estate Brokers has been the trailblazer, for us in minorities, in being able to sell homes and to offer the American dream.
Raising the Roof, presented by the Central Indiana Realtist Association. Fridays at 11:30 a.m. only on WHMB TV 40.